Welcome to That 80s Show, and I'm doing a show with my best 80s friend. How are you, Dori?
Oh, that's so sweet. I'm good, Paula, but I have a question. Considering we started today's show with Depeche Mode. We went from not enough Depeche Mode to now what I'm beginning to feel is too much Depeche Mode. What's going on?
Can there ever... I mean, I just can't get enough of Depeche Mode, Dori. If you have to set me up. But
I wasn't setting you up, but well done.
So here's the thing, right? You're listening on the podcast, you wouldn't have heard, but we played Never Let Me Down. Again, Depeche Mode. 2 weeks in a row playing Depeche Mode. Here's the reason, right? So last week, we played Shake the Disease because I'd heard Shake the Disease in the Disney Plus show, Welcome to Chippendales, right? This week, I'm looking for lightning to strike twice. So last year, when I watched Stranger Things, the latest season, and Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush played, I was like, this song is going to go interstellar. It is going to go ballistic. I sensed it. I would have preferred it to be Babushka. If you're going to...
We know.
Okay. I'm still get Babushka to number one. Not going to happen. But I hear Never Let Me Down Again. So there's a new show. I don't know if you've heard about it, Dori, called The Last of Us.
I have.
It's
I've
the thing.
Tried to watch it.
Listen.
Not getting into it.
I get what you're saying. It's the whole thing. It's based on a video game. Like, people are just losing their shit over it. It's like, I don't like zombie and apocalyptic stuff. Like, I don't know if there's zombies, but it's definitely post-apocalyptic. I don't like it. But I'm kind of like, okay, I have to figure out. I like Pedro Pasquale. Is that how you say it?
I love zombie stuff, but it's kind of it wasn't grabbing me. I don't know. I'm halfway through episode 1.
I know.
I might at some point try to go back to it. I don't know.
Okay. So, I mean, I love Pedro. I mean, loved him in Narcos, loved him in Mandalorian. This Is the Way. Got the most awesome voice. So get yourself to the end of episode 1 because that song, Never Let Me Down Again, features in it. So guess what? There's 2 songs that feature in it. That song and then another song from the 70s. So I was like, oh, wait, one of these is going to become the viral hit. So far, it's the other song from the 70s, but I'm keeping an eye on Depeche Mode to watch them in Spotify, see what's happening, because I think I've spotted the next 80s song trend. And listen, that's what we do. We kind of go, what are people talking about from the 80s? Let's jump onto it. We need those search terms.
I thought you were going to say we set the trend, but what you're saying is we follow the trend.
I'm all about Google, Dori. I'm all about Google search terms. I mean, you know it. You know it. So that's why we got Depeche Mode 2 weeks in a row. I'm triggered this week, Dori. I'm very triggered. Oh boy.
I know you are.
You know what I'm triggered by?
First of all, can we just point out that you had a birthday this week?
I did have a birthday this week.
Are you feeling the age?
You know what? I don't know. It's very boring to talk about your birthday, but thank you for bringing it up. I don't know how to be...
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I was going to play the song for you, but so obvious.
Of course. So, I'm 43. I don't know how to be old.
No. I can attest to that.
You know what I mean?
I'm sure your wife can attest to that too, and your child. Yeah.
I mean...
I know what you mean.
Like, I like video games and I like sneakers and I got Lego for my birthday. 43 years old, I got Lego. I like cartoons.
Okay, hang on. Did cousin Louis give you Lego?
Oh, no. Listen. He has teased me with...
alcohol.
He has teased me. He's currently in Australia. He has teased me with a DeLorean phone case. Okay? We've not spoken about this. It's a phone case that is a DeLorean. It's the most impractical thing ever in the history of the world, right? And it's damned expensive. But it's a DeLorean phone case.
Is it like clunky? Is it big?
It's the size of your phone, and it's a freaking DeLorean. It's the DeLorean. It's not flat. It's a DeLorean. So you put it on the desk, it looks like
That's what I'm saying. It can't be flat. It can't be like a sleek, practical thing.
No, not at all. It looks like the worst thing ever. I'm very intrigued. If it was, it's like stupid expensive. It's probably the price of a phone. But he said they're available in Australia. He might just come back with it. Where I'm like, please don't spend that amount of money. But I'm very intrigued to see what happens. I got to get.
Would you actually be able to use it? Are you going to be able to put it in your pocket?
I got big pockets. But that's the conversation we had.
Stop the conversation there.
But that's the conversation we had. If you have something like that, no, I wouldn't even put it in my pocket, even if I could fit. If I have a DeLorean phone case, I'm putting the DeLorean on the table all the time.
All the time.
Pockets, where we're going, we don't need pockets. I got a DeLorean phone case.
You'd be like the person with the first brick cell phone, like showing it off.
Exactly.
You'd be like that.
Exactly. So, I got to find a photo of it. I got to find a photo to put on that 80 Show SA Facebook page. So earlier this week, I sent you something. I said, I'm very angry about what I'm seeing, right?
I don't know why.
I do know why. So firstly, I'm excited because there is a new show coming to Netflix with Rob Lowe. Okay. The show is...
Do we know when it's coming?
It is called, let me see here.
Unstable. It's called Unstable.
It is called Unstable. It doesn't have a release date, but they're starting to do all the promotion of it. So it's definitely coming soon. Okay.
I'm waiting for it.
Yeah. No, it's 30th of March. 30th of March, new Rob Lowe.
Okay, not too long.
Not too long, right? New sitcom Rob Lowe with his son. They play father and son. Okay. In this particular one, it's John Owen Lowe, 28 years old. So they're doing all the promotional stuff. Dori, like, there are people who win the genetic lottery. And, I mean, you are fucking Powerball if Rob Lowe is your father. I mean, right? I want you to do something. I don't know if you've clicked
also, have you seen Rob Lowe's wife, who, by the way, he's been married to for over 30 years?
I was shocked by that.
They're like one of the success stories of, like, you know, Hollywood couples.
Did you know that before, like, we started speaking about this?
I did not. I went down a rabbit hole after you were triggered this week. I did not know this.
I mean, we're talking Rob Lowe, like notorious. He made a sex tape before there were sex tapes, right? Like, this is Rob Lowe. He invented sex tapes. And you think...
Did I have a thing for Rob Lowe in my teens? OMG.
Had or still do?
No, I mean, he's still do. Absolutely still do.
Have you seen this? We'll put this up, that 80 Show SA Facebook page. All the links I've put there, Dori, click the link that says why. Click the link that says why. You see that says why? Click that link and tell the people what you're seeing.
Rob Lowe and sons John Owen and Matthew pose together in shirtless boat photo. Lowe boys. And then there is a photo of a very hot Rob Lowe flanked by very average looking people.
It took me like 4 or 5 looks to actually figure out there's other people in this photo. I mean,
oh my God.
Look at Rob Lowe. Look at Rob Lowe. This is from this year. Or, I mean, late last year. When is this? On the Instagram. It's on the gram. It's late last year, right? On the Med. On the yacht on the Med. Rob Lowe is... He's 30 years older than his sons. Way better looking. Way better body, everything. Okay?
And there's two of you. There's two of you, and you're both just not going to ever live up to what your dad looks like. You're never going to be the sex god that he was. You're never going to have millions of teenage boys and girls drooling over you. Like, it's never going to happen.
So,
sorry.
If you haven't deduced by now, we don't think Rob Lowe's son is anywhere near good looking enough. Either of them. It's kind of like they took the genes between Rob Lowe and split them in two and still didn't get the recipe right. Okay.
Well, can I reveal to our listener? Sorry, I'm just picking that up from Smartless. I'll stop doing that. Can I reveal to our wonderful listeners what you actually said when you sent me that message about how you were triggered? You were like, it looks like somebody ordered Rob Lowe on Wish.
It does. He's got all the parts of Rob Lowe, but it kind of just doesn't go together. It's like getting a craft burger and they bring you all the things separately. Not a fucking burger.
I mean, the one son, you can see the one son looks more like him and the other son looks more like the mom, but they both it didn't come out right for both of them. Like, it's just, like, you would absolutely not look twice if you saw this person in a shop or in the street.
Now, let me just disclaimer here. Both of these boys are 10 billion times better looking than me. Okay. Like, there isn't even a power 2 percentage to equate how much better looking these two are than me, right? So I do understand from whence I'm coming. You know, people who live in glass houses, etc., etc. But the point is, yes,
okay, no, you carry on.
No, you must go, Dori.
Okay. So I was going to say, the thing is, they do have amazing personalities. Have you seen them making fun of Rob Lowe on social media? Their personalities come to the fore. So I think they would be really fun to hang out with anyway.
Ugly but funny. Me, basically. Hang out with me, rather. Right. So I just think it's like going, I mean, to call Rob Lowe's sons, like, they're not ugly, just like, but when you have such an advantage, like, it's just not acceptable. Like, what I give it to is, like, not in the look stakes, but David Beckham's sons, right? Have you seen them? They're all over the place.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Never mind the looks thing. It's how shit they are at soccer, right?
But I mean, what pressure? What pressure? Come on.
I know what you're saying. Still way better at soccer than me. But you're launching off. You have the things inside you. You've got it. It's genetics. It's like if I take
Maybe not.
You don't think so?
Genetics is not everything. I mean, we're going to speak to Barrett a little bit later on in the show. He went to the Sting concert, and Sting was performing with his son.
Yes.
I bet you that his son is not nearly as talented as he is. We're going to have the same discussion.
See,
Barrett won't say anything bad.
We're going to
only going to say good things.
We're going to bookend it.
Let me get the bad stuff out the way now.
We're going to bookend it with 80 superstars, failure sons. That's how
Terrible.
No. Broadly speaking.
Did you know Sting's son was a musician? Did you know? Do you know his name?
So
I'm not being mean. I'm just being honest.
Listen, I mean, I think the obvious joke, and we just got to get out the way, I was going to save it for later. Barrett did not get the jokes at all. The second he said, I met Sting's son, just the Sting episode with Friends, it just like was in my head. Are you Ross? What did Phoebe say? Are you Ben? Did you go to... I just couldn't. I just had to get them all out. So that for me, I could not get past the fact that Barrett lived an episode of Friends. That's what I couldn't... Okay. I couldn't move past that. So we'll investigate.
It's actually what I know of it, and I don't know the whole thing, so I'm looking forward to speak to him later. It's actually quite a cool story of like how he came about to meet him and all that. It's actually very cool. So
nice.
We'll hear that later.
Nice. Listen, I've made my decision, Rob.
Can we just talk this link you sent me, the Y link?
Yes.
If you scroll down to the picture underneath the picture of them on the boat.
Yes.
It's even worse.
Yeah, because it's the whole family together. I saw that.
And you see gorgeous Rob and gorgeous mom, I can't remember her name, Cheryl. And then the two funny looking sons.
I know, because I was saying like they're way better looking than me. I don't know. Over December, we did, we got our latest, I think we're probably a bit late to the party, but we got an air fryer. Right.
Oh, well, I'm so late to the party, I don't have one yet.
Okay, well.
And I might not get one. I'll see.
No, so
you're not that late, but yes.
Okay. So it made me, like, it's gimmicky, right? It's just passe, it's fad. It's going to, like, they're going to prove in 5 years how much cancer it causes. Like, it's just, just one of those things.
So it hasn't been life-changing for you like it has been for so many other people?
I mean, not life-changing. But the thing is, you look around your kitchen and you go, there's the steamer, and then there's the juicer, and then there's the NutriBullet, and there's the coffee grinder. It's like
I have to say I still use my NutriBullet regularly.
Oh, so do I.
It's the one thing I use regularly. It's the one thing that hasn't gone into appliance graveyard.
But that's the thing.
NutriBullet, please sponsor our show.
Appliance
I don't have any
graveyard.
things to say.
Appliance graveyard, aka the space on top of your cupboards, like right at the top. Just get the fuck out of the way.
Well, in my case, it's the bottom cupboard in the corner of the kitchen.
Okay. So it got me thinking about all the kind of gimmicky stuff that appliances in the 80s, right? And the stuff we had. I've got a list here, but I also want to like talk about a couple of things that we had in our house. Do you remember any like weird appliances you had in the 80s?
We had, I mean, I suppose it wasn't weird, but it was just very 80s. We had that Mixmaster thing.
Oh, what did that do?
I don't know if you remember it. It was like, there was a bowl thing and then there was a blender thing and you would like kind of tip it up and over.
It was for baking. It was for baking.
For baking, yes. And my mother really never baked, so I don't know why we had it. But it was definitely an ornament.
Everyone had it because that was wedding stuff. Because in the 70s and 80s, like you didn't get money for weddings, you got appliances. Because, well, now you're married, you got to stop your job, you got to get in the kitchen, you got to make your man some cakes. That's what you're going to do. We had the two. We had a juicer, which almost took my finger off. Like you speak about the NutriBullet, right? Now they're like all contained and all the blades and the worry bits don't go near you. Not in the 80s. I almost took my finger off making a juice, making an orange juice, right?
Hey, nothing in the 80s was made to be safe and protect your fingers.
No.
They didn't care.
No.
The 80s did not care about your fingers.
The one?
Your toes, for that matter.
The 80s did not care about your fingers. That's so true. The other thing that we had that I loved was the popcorn maker. I just thought we were the height. Oh, I thought, oh my God, we're so rich. We can make our own popcorn. Because you forget, right? So like we don't do microwave popcorn. Like my wife's got a thing, it's poisonous, it's going to kill us all.
Yeah.
That's
terrible.
Yeah.
I agree. We also only do on the stove.
Right, on the stove. But it's a pain. It's like... Yeah. And sometimes while I'm sitting there, I go,
not really.
No, it's not. I was like, God, I wish I still had that popcorn maker. And just when the popcorn like came out the top, it was just like vomiting the popcorn, just popcorn into your bowl. It's the best, God.
Oh, you know what we did have, and I think it was 80s. We had a snackwiger.
Oh,
you know the snackwidge
God.
maker?
Those are the best.
We had that. They were the best. They really were.
The way it just...
I want a snackwidge right now.
Oh, my God.
Like right now. I could just have...
The way it sealed it in, it's like... We just... Like this... Like nothing... That snackwidge just locked all the goodness in with this crust. Snackwidges. What I loved...
I've got a panini press. I can make toasted sandwiches with a panini press. It doesn't seal it and make it like the snackwidge does.
It's not a snackwidge. Perfect. It's perfect height. It's rounded. It's got the slit in the middle. Oh God, bring back snackwidges. What I loved about all of these things was, what was it made of? Like now everything's brushed chrome, or like everything is like sleek looking. It was like that horrible material that would eventually go yellow. It was always beige, and then it eventually goes so yellow. Like I don't even know what color this originally was. So. Some of the other things it's got here is a Mr. Coffee machine, but like any coffee machine back in the 80s, like it was like the dawn of the at-home coffee machine. Like people were just like nuts about that.
We never had such a thing.
No, we never did either.
Never such a thing.
It's called the kettle. That's what we had. That was our coffee machine. It's called the kettle.
Kettle, indeed.
An amazing thing I never saw, the fruit and vegetable peel. It peels and juliennes.
I'm looking at it. It looks... amazing.
It looks like a nutty torture device.
Now, thanks.
Will you take that?
It looks really good.
So
yeah, I'll take it.
It's an almond colored unit. Everything was almond colored with cord and blade storage, adjustable food support, and dust cover. So it looks like you take your fruit and vegetables and you lock it into this like arm, and then you put the peeler on the top, and then it spins it and peels it. Oh, that could be quite.
It almost looks human.
Yeah.
Like. You know what I mean? Like its arms are peeling it.
It looks
like humanoid.
It looks related to Johnny Five. It's definitely a distant relative. And in the 80s, if you weren't julienning your stuff, like were you actually really, maximizing your vegetables? You had to julienne them.
Now Willie's does it for you. So,
God. And
how funny. Literally, the ads I'm being served on this webpage are all Woolworths, all of it, and like cut up vegetable pictures.
Really,
They know.
They know. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that started making their ways into the kitchens of the 80s was all different types of TVs, like more portable TVs, right? So smaller TVs. We had, I've spoken about it before, we had the TV with a video machine at the bottom. That's probably more 90s, but you know, computers started making their way into the kitchen, like personal computers. Another state of the 80s is a fridge with an ice dispenser. I mean, you were bawling back in the 80s with it.
It was so exciting.
And then it also talks about just like how dishwashers and washing machines were like now modernized, because before they had them, but they weren't like comfortable for the home. They were just like really big, bulky industrial things because people went to laundromats and things like that. And then, of course, the thing that changed everything in the 80s was the microwave oven. That was just the thing. Yes. It's like everyone was a microwave.
I can proudly say I got my first microwave only 2007.
Really?
Yes, was the time when I never grew up with a microwave. We never had a microwave at home. I moved out of home. I lived by myself for a while, no microwave. Then, got married, got pregnant, and got given at my baby shower a microwavable bottle sterilizer for the baby.
Handy.
And then I was like, oh shit, I'm going to have to buy a microwave now. So I did. That was the first microwave.
So my mother was good Portuguese mother. So she didn't use microwaves for other than warming up milk. That was it.
I mean, that's probably one of the worst things you could do with it, but okay.
It was the 80s. We didn't know. 80s didn't care about your fingers, Dori.
Because it would make pockets of burning hot milk in your milk. Of it.
Yeah, you had to get it right. Yeah, my mother used her microwave so little, okay, because she's all about, fresh cooking, that microwave lasts for almost like 30 years. Like that's how little she used it. But that was it. So on that 80s show, when we're not boring you about appliances from the 80s, listen, people definitely, when you said Snackwich, everyone was like, fuck it, love a Snackwich. I got to find it.
We've got to bring it back. We've got to bring back the Snackwidger.
We got to bring back.
It again.
And we don't want like the shape of the thing, like you said, the panini press. No. Snackwich brand Snackwich must be back.
Yes.
So
it was a pain to clean, though. Like the panini press is a pain to clean as well.
Yeah.
Like all these things are. It was a pain to clean. Maybe that's why it died out.
Could be. Well, it's like that's the thing they need to invent. A automatic. It's almost like a machine that you could put all your stuff in, and it just washes it, and then you don't have to. Funny they invented that.
or just to be able to detach the plug from it so that it can go underwater safely. And then you dry it and put the plug back on.
Get on it, Dori. Get on it.
Okay.
Get on this. Movie time, Dori. 80s movie time. I've actually got a movie and its sequel for you.
Okay, I'm going to be very quick with mine, so I'll give you extra time because, mine is a TV series that I had totally forgotten existed, and I cannot even remember how it came back into my brain. Something that I saw online in the last week reminded me of this TV series, which, we've discussed this. There wasn't a lot going on in the 80s, so even if something was highly average, you still enjoyed it generally.
Right.
Paula, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this. I want to play the theme song from it, but I don't know if you're going to hear it if I play it on my side. Let's give it a shot. Is that not one of the most amazing theme songs from the 80s that you've probably totally forgotten about?
No.
It's got like a bit of a country and western feel to it.
I did not forget about it.
That show. Did you not forget about it? You know that this show is going to serve you shenanigans when you hear that music.
Cop-based shenanigans. And you know, Dori, just the other day, we're talking about, we got a new game we play on that 80s show, 2 80s Truths and a Lie. Yeah. And I was going to make up a lie about this show. Because we've never spoken about, I'm going to give it to you. If people don't recognize the theme song, the show we're talking about.
It is Simon and Simon. And if it was simulcast in South Africa, which I can't remember if it was, it would have been Simon in Simon.
No, I doubt they kept Simon. It was probably Pete and Pete.
Die twee Simons. I don't think it was simulcast. I remember watching it with my mom every week and enjoying it. It probably was not one of the best shows ever made, but enjoyable, really enjoyable. 2 brothers running a private investigation agency, solving mysteries, stopping crimes, helping people, shenanigans, totally ripping each other off the whole time because they were such totally different personalities. That was the whole premise of the show, was that they were brothers, but they were completely different personalities, and they clashed, but in a very loving and good way. And so they were constantly just ripping each other off the whole way through every episode. So even though it was supposed to be a serious story, it was actually more of a comedy. And they do describe it as a mystery, comedy, drama, action show on Wikipedia.
Were they brothers? They were brothers.
That's why they're called Simon and Simon.
I thought they were just 2 Simons.
They were supposed to be brothers.
AJ Simon and Rick Simon. I didn't realize that.
Yes.
Well, I must have known. I probably forgot they were brothers.
Their mom was even a regular character on the show.
Cecilia Simon. I'm looking at Wikipedia. That was the mother was Cecilia Simon.
Yeah. I'm not going to say too much about it. I mean, it's not the kind of thing you're going to go and watch again now, but there's a few things that I found out when I went down the Simon and Simon rabbit hole, going, where are they now? What's going on? Yeah. They are both still alive.
Yep.
The guy who played AJ, who I actually thought was much cuter, the blonde one, had zero career after this show. He would appear once in a while on random, very mediocre TV shows like Jag and I mean, but before Simon and Simon, he was a soap opera star. He was on a soap opera, and then he was Simon from Simon and Simon, but that was literally the peak of his career. However, the guy who played Rick, Gerald McRaney, went on to have quite a good career. You might remember him as Major Dad.
Yep.
I don't know if you ever watched Major Dad.
I loved Major Dad. I loved it.
Major Dad was great. He was also the doctor in This Is Us. If you watch This Is Us, cue Tears Now. He was the doctor.
God, I hate that show.
We cried during this episode.
I hate that show. I hate that show. It's such melodramatic nonsense.
That show is not made for strong masculine men like you.
It's like, oh, what are we going to do this week for dramatic effect? I know. Let's kill someone. Let's do that.
Let's just kill someone randomly for no reason whatsoever.
And because we got this weird time traveling device, they never really dared. So, that show irritates me. It's not for me.
Not for you. But yes, so Simon and Simon was really fun. It actually ran from 1981 to 1989. So basically the whole 80s was filled with Simon and Simon. But did you know, Paulo, that how it got popular, because initially the pilot didn't do so well, and the network was like, we're going to cancel this. This isn't for us. And somehow they got a second chance. And what they did was they did a 2-hour crossover episode with Magnum PI.
That's going to get you the ratings.
We started on Magnum, and then to see what happened, you had to watch Simon and Simon to see what happened to the rest of the story. Crossover, very clever tactic to get people to watch a new show. It was actually on TV after Magnum PI on Thursday nights. So you'd watch Magnum, and then you'd watch Simon and Simon if you were in America. I have no idea. Cannot for the life of me remember what night it was on in South Africa.
Yeah.
And that's how it actually got popular. And it ran the course. It stayed for a while. What eventually killed it was The Cosby Show, funnily enough, on a competing network, on a competing channel at the same time. And then it just lost viewers. And because, you had to choose. If you did not have the VCR, which a lot of people didn't, you had to choose what you were watching. And people chose The Cosby Show over Simon and Simon. And that was the end of that.
That's a fantastic show. So funny. A few weeks ago, thinking, Simon, never spoken about that. And here we go. It's a long run.
That's why I thought of it, because you thought of it, because our brains are one.
Exactly. Our brains are kind of like Simon and Simon linked. Because that was the thing. Even though they were so opposite, they had like this same intuition brain.
They worked really well together, exactly. Yeah. They could take down bad guys with guns really well.
Outstanding. And probably one of the forgotten shows of the 80s, if I have to say. Ran for ages. Ran longer than some of the shows we talk about all the time.
I was surprised when I saw that it ran for so long.
Yeah. Airwolf only ran for 3 seasons, but we talk about Airwolf all the time.
But it made an impression.
It did. Simon and Simon needed a helicopter. That's what they needed. They needed a helicopter. It's quite apt that you brought up Bill Cosby again. I don't have another Bill Cosby movie, but it's another. Leonard Part 6, really bad. But it also features another disgraced 80s star, right? Disgraced 80s comedian.
Okay.
Chevy Chase. I don't know what he did. Why is he cancelled? I can't keep up. What did he do? Why did everyone hate him?
I'm not sure. I think
he's racist.
I remember
sexist.
He was kicked off Community.
Yeah.
Because remember he was part of Community and they got rid of him. They wrote him out because he did something, but I can't remember what exactly it was.
Yeah. I can't. I know he's cancelled. Nobody likes him. He's always been a dick, man. All those Saturday Night Live guys from then.
So.
All the same. So
definitely has that energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Chevy Chase has always Chevy Chase was obviously a huge influence on Ryan Reynolds, right? Because if you've can't remember Chevy Chase or never watched him, Ryan Reynolds is exactly the same. Super smarmy. It's borders on smarmy, smart aleck, always got to have a clever thing to say. Everything's going to end in a punchline. Always got to have the last word. Have you noticed that? Always found them very Chevy Chase-ish. And
by the way, I found out why he was cancelled.
Oh, why is he cancelled?
He used a racial slur against Donald Glover on Community.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't mess with Childish Gambino.
Exactly.
Don't do that.
That's gonna get you. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's why he's cancelled.
Yeah.
I knew he's a racist. So
just knew it. And that's actually, funnily enough, the vibe that he gave on Community as well. It was so funny.
Yeah. There was this character
with him and Shirley.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
So, and Ryan Reynolds is very much inspired by. He says it was a hero of his. He kind of copied him. So anyway, he did. He did Caddyshack. He did National Lampoons, and those are kind of the two bigger ones you remember Chevy Chase for. But my movie recommendation this week is another series of his that really was just showed him and what he's all about. Is a movie called Fletch. You ever watch it?
I don't think I've seen it. I'm very aware of its presence because I remember seeing it on the shelves in the video shop my entire childhood. But I don't know if I actually ever watched it. What's it about?
It's he's shenanigans plotline. So he's a journalist, and while he's busy trying to uncover a drug ring, this millionaire, super rich guy contacts her, says, "Listen." It doesn't realize that he's a journalist, thinks he's a drug addict. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you money to pretend to kill me, right? So you're going to come to my house, we'll make it look like a robbery, you're going to pretend to kill me, and then I'm going to disappear, you're going to get the money, a whole shenanigans story. So Chevy Chase is I'm definitely going to follow up on this because I'm a journalist and this guy thinks I'm a drug addict. So he now goes to try to figure out why would this guy try to get him killed or want him to be killed and fake his murder, fake his death, whatever. So they go through this whole, it's now the investigation, but it's more a series of skits, right? So you've got Chevy Chase just taking on a whole bunch of different personas, characters. He's in disguise. At one point he's playing with the LA Lakers. He looks like a 50s greaser air pilot at one point. if you don't like Chevy Chase, you will not stand this movie. But if you do like Chevy Chase and just see him just going the full range of what he could do, then you will definitely love it. So he says it's one of his favorite movies he's ever done because he was just allowed to be himself. And it really is a vehicle for Chevy Chase.
I mean, I guess I'd probably enjoy parts of it from the sounds of things.
So I'll tell you what, why don't you rather watch all the clips?
What happens in the end? Just tell me. Spoiler alert, tell me.
So I'll tell you what happens in the sequel. Let me jump to the sequel. There was a sequel called Fletch Lives, right? So now
Yes, that's familiar.
Right?
Yes.
So now it picks up, again, a completely unrelated story, but I just want you to read this. So he gets accused of a murder properly, right? He inherits a house. He gets accused of murdering the caretaker of the house. This is from Wikipedia. These are not my words. Fletch awakens the next morning to find Ross dead. This is the caretaker. Fletch is charged with Ross's murder and taken into custody, nearly being prison loved by his cellmate Ben Dover, spared only because Dover is released on jail. Fletch, then there's a whole shenanigans. First, a group of hired Ku Klux Klansmen harass him and try to kill him. Then an arsonist burns down the mansion. And finally, Ben Dover tries to kill Fletch during a raccoon hunt with some locals. And this is all in the first 20 minutes.
It's really terrible. No, it sounds really terrible.
So Fletch Lives tanked. Fletch is way more popular. Then they did another Fletch Confesses with John. Is it John Hamm? Yes, John Hamm.
Yes.
So they did
from Mad Men.
From Mad Men, because Fletch is based on a series of books. It's based on a series of novels. So Fletch is that character. He's an investigative reporter. So there's a whole bunch of books about him. But of course, they kind of like had them. They call it like neo-comedic noir or neo-noir comedy. I don't even quite know how that works. You got to have a name for everything. You got to have a name for everything these days. You got to have a categorization. So that's Fletch Lives. So it's Fletch Lives, and Simon & Simon. Fletch and Simon & Simon. That's what you get as your movie recommendations for this week.
Insane.
So we don't watch the movie, Dori. We're going to put up all the clips on that 80 Show SA Facebook page. You can just watch Chevy Chase in all his comedic glory. And the one part I did relate to, because you're saying, turning older earlier, is he goes for a unexpected prostate exam, which I have not been for, but they say he has got to go.
Unexpected?
So he's trying to get the medical records of the guy who says he must kill him. And then while he's there, he gets the exam.
They assume he's there for his prostate exam. And shenanigans ensue.
Exactly. And what's funnier, than seeing 80s Chevy Chase having a finger stuck up his bum? Before we go, remember last week we spoke about the search term bingos, like how well does the internet know you? It threw up terms at me, 80s era Nikes, Michael Jordan, Jason Bateman. What I got to say, Justine Bateman there for a second. Jason Bateman, all the things. Here is the next one, Dori.
Yes.
New York Ninja, how the film perfectly captures the 80s in the 2020s.
Abductions of young women are still being reported. Another woman with mysterious radiation burns has been discovered.
We're gonna have a baby.
Oh my God.
I can't believe that John's wife was murdered.
You have to try and pull yourself together.
This city owes me.
Well, what's that?
Justice. Why won't anyone do anything?
We are strong on crime, and together we have the power.
This is a big city. We're doing what we can.
What happened? Is he okay? What?
What? Shit. What? Tell the others I'm coming for them.
I need you to help me.
I would, but I want them dead.
Crime has remained at an all-time low thanks to ninja fever.
We're going live with this.
These men murdered her because of what she saw. It's linked to these abductions.
There's something weighing us down. It's that damn ninja.
New York Ninja's a real hero.
How wild is this story, right? So in the 80s, they make a movie called New York Ninja, okay? And they film the whole thing, set it up, whatever. It never gets released, right? But real B-grade, like, just terrible movie. And like, they even say in here, a movie that would rival the genre greats like Miami Connection, Hard Ticket to Hawaii, and Champagne and Bullets, okay?
That's how you found this article, because you have a Google alert on Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Right. And ninjas. Surprise.
Of course, ninjas.
So we're going to post the whole story, but basically, in a nutshell, what happens here is that they find this movie, someone gives them the movie, and they go, you know what, we're going to remake this movie, but not with our cynicism of today. We're going to pretend we were in the 80s, and how would we have remade the movie, or how would we have made the movie in editing, sound design, and everything with the respect we would have given in the 80s. So they basically redirected it. So they took the footage, they reshot some parts, they dubbed over some parts, but when they dubbed it, they used like B-grade actors, B-movie legends like Don Wilson and Cynthia Rothrock. I mean, just go Google those two. Those are, I mean...
No, I know who she is.
Right.
I know who she is because I'm married to someone who loves Kung Fu movies.
Okay.
I know who.
That's the genre we're in, right? They are B-grade Kung Fu. So they got them to dub the voices. They created a killer, a funk synth heavy score, a band called Voyager with the E is a 3, who created the music. So they've basically made this movie, remade it lovingly, as if they were back in the 80s.
So hang on, it's not out yet. It's still coming.
No, it's done. You can hire it on all the platforms. You can. It is around. You can get it. It is called New York Ninja. I haven't watched it yet, but from the trailer, it looks like the most fascinating piece of crap I've ever seen in my life.
I will watch the trailer in my own time.
If it's kind
of, we'll put it on Facebook.
You see, what you do is you've got to recreate the 80s, but with today's technology and sensitivities, and like we do every week. That's what we do. Exactly, and that's what we're going to do.
I look forward to it. That looks cool.
Unfortunately, we've had technical difficulties. We couldn't get the celeb savant Barrett on to talk to us about Sting and his son, Sting son, because that's what they would call him in Viking days. He was Sting son.
Right.
Vikings.
Son of Sting.
Sting son. I prefer Sting son. I think it's very Can you imagine a Viking called Sting son? Can you imagine? Call the police. So this has been That 80s Show. Everything we've spoken about
ignoring it
on today's show, you can find on That 80s Show SA Facebook page, and then we will have the chart savant, celeb savant back next week to talk about not only the Sting concert but also his upcoming interviews. Dori, of all the things we spoke about in the show, do you have a favorite?
Favorite? I mean, I enjoyed the fruit and vegetable peeler from the 80s. I could have me some of that.
More so than one of Rob Lowe's sons?
More so.
Thanks for joining me, Dori. Goodbye.
Bye.